So here we are with Mr. Hua Hong. He is the founder of Amphibian Aerospace Industries, and he's based in Australia. And you've just announced a tie-up with an Indian company. Can you just talk about what it is about and what is the collaboration, the announcement that you made today?
So we chose Apogee Aerospace because, like any relationship, the first thing you have to do is you have to assess the person and whether that person, or that chairman or that owner of the business marries up with your core ethics or your core values. And the process of choosing a partner is mainly, in a private company, is really mainly based on personal relationship. Then you get into skill sets, then you get into capacity, the capabilities, but everything revolves around that person. If that person is unethical, that person is not marrying up with your core values, then it is impossible to do a deal. Right? So for us, we found Wing Commander Sai, retired, an absolutely ethical man, an incredible man who's done great things for India, who has a large contact base, understands aerospace, who has a relationship with a lot of supply chain, and we just found him to be a very pleasant individual to deal with. And based on those foundations, you're able to strike a relationship.
So what is this collaboration going to be like? What we are talking about Albatross 2, which is going to come into India. Can you just run us through it?
So Apogee are our official representative and partner for the Indian and subcontinent region, meaning that in terms of sales, backup support, maintenance, repair, overhaul, they are it, right? So as we sell aircraft in this region, it's going to have to be maintained. It's going to have to be repaired and overhauled, right? So that is what this relationship is all about. We're negotiating and we're talking about furthering the relationship in terms of other manufacturing activities. So that's one aspect of it. The second aspect is that we've appointed them to manufacture the tail section for our aircraft. So
and where will this manufacturing facility be?
That is, he's assessing it at the moment.
All right.
There's a few states. I won't sort of elaborate because that's not my business. But,
right.
But essentially, the tail section of our aircraft will be made by Apogee Aerospace. So that's the second aspect of it. And then the third aspect of it is systems integration. So we will deliver a green aircraft to Apogee Aerospace, and then it's up to them to fit the system. Say, for example, it's a surveillance a variant.
Right.
So they would have to fit in the workstations, they would have to fit in the monitors, the radar systems, the electronic systems to be applicable for their customer.
Okay.
And so the relationship is in those three fields of endeavour.
And how many aircrafts are we looking at of these amphibious aircrafts in India? What do you think is the kind of market? Are they going to be for defense or civil aviation or both?
So when you produce a product, all right, and if it has one role, obviously the demand naturally is limited because maybe a lot of one product, right? But generally speaking, in aircraft, if you have one aircraft and it fulfills many roles, then it's not a concrete indicator, but it's a very strong indicator that you can fulfill many things in that particular market, right? Then you get into are there any competitors,
right?
And then you get into advantages of your aircraft compared to your competitors' aircraft. Fortunately for us, as was described today, we hold a monopoly in our class. We're the only transport category RPT Part 25 FAA certified for registered passenger transport in the amphibian space for 28 seats. Right, so we hold the monopoly.
Okay.
Right, in that particular market. So we project a demand for, in our opinion, through our research, for at least 500 aircraft in the next 20 to 30 years.
500 aircraft for India?
For India and the subcontinent.
India and the subcontinent. Yeah. All right.
Maldives, Sri Lanka, and all the subcontinent countries. Yeah.
And what would this be valued at, the 500 aircrafts? How much is the cost of one aircraft?
It depends on the variant, and really pricing we don't really like to disclose because it's very different for different variants, but it's also very different for different customers because of the modification we may need make to it, right?
And how many aircrafts do you have in the world as of now? What is your fleet strength?
So this aircraft has been in the world for 50 years, 60 years, right? So it's originally certified and it was originally manufactured for the U.S. military, and
All right.
22 nations around the world operated this aircraft, right? And then in 1981, it was civilianized. It was brought from a military-based aircraft into the civilian register,
Okay.
right? And that's when it got converted from, at least it's called the G111 Albatross, and that's when it got converted from a restricted category, and then an additional of a civilian variant, right? So it's always been flown. What we did, madam, was we bought the type certificates, right? And a type certificate, just briefly, every aircraft has a certificate, a certificate of type.
Right.
Right, so a Boeing 737, just like Boeing owns the 737 type certificate, we own the HU-16, models A to E, and the G111 type certificates.
All right.
Right, meaning that we are the OEM for that aircraft, right? And so we purchased the whole assets, and then now we are upgrading this aircraft to the new variant, to the new model. Right, being that new turboprop engines, a modern cockpit, additional safety features, additional comfort features, and then so that's the aircraft that we're manufacturing.
All right.
Right.
And when is the first aircraft likely to come into India?
So there's two programs running concurrently. There's ones where we're converting existing airframes with the new upgrades.
Okay.
So we have existing airframes for them, and that's called the G111T program, where we get existing airframes and we're upgrading it with the modern features that I just discussed.
Okay.
And then there's the new production line from the ground up, right? So we plan to get the ones that we are converting, where we have existing airframes, that will be online within 18 to 24 months.
Okay.
Will be their first aircraft. The new ones we're looking at 3 years. Right, before the first brand new production line aircraft comes out.
I'd like to know how you've become the founder of this. You went from Vietnam to Australia. Just tell us, how was your journey? How did you get into aviation? How it all started? You know.
So we have a proverb in Vietnamese that sometimes it's not you that picks the trade, but it's the trade that picks you. I mean, I don't know what you're qualified in. And how you became a journalism, but I bet you when you were young,
Yeah.
it wasn't the first thing you did,
Yeah, right.
right? So that's what happened to my life. Right? I was a project manager by trade. I was happily working, you know, I had the full job title, you know, I had the convertible car, and I was living life young. And then I had a phone call from a gentleman that was really close to me. He said, "Look, well, we have a project in Vietnam, and we want you to head it." And I said, "Look, Barry, I don't really understand aerospace. I mean, I do, but not into a detailed form where I can actually lead an aerospace company." He said, "Look, you're very intelligent. You can work it out, right? You'll find your way." Right? And it was a leap of faith on him as well. So the program was an agreement whereby all the existing parts left over after the Vietnam War was traded for new zero time. We call it zero time helicopters in return.
Oh, okay. So it was
like
a trade-off.
It was a barter agreement.
All right.
And so we found, I set up the production line so that they can restore, you know, upgrade, maintain a production line to actually do all that, right? And to this day, not a single aircraft, helicopter, touch wood, has fallen.
So, what you're trying to say is that those components that were left behind were used in making these helicopters?
Some of them.
Some of them. Are they still flying?
Yes, that's not a wrong. Like I said, not one has.
And what are these helicopters called?
They're called UH-1H Hueys.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
they're flying in Vietnam.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And what are they used
training,
for?
for mainly training and troop carrying.
Oh, okay.
Right, so they're one of the. I mean, in my opinion, they shouldn't have been retired. Right, you're not going to find a single engine helicopter for that acquisition cost and that running cost that can carry 13 soldiers. You're simply not going to get that.
Right.
In the modern era, but. I don't know why the OEM retired it. I don't know the reasons behind it, but for me, 16,000 of those helicopters were produced.
16,000.
Yeah,
all in Vietnam.
No.
They were produced all over.
So the OEM for that particular type
Okay.
was Bell in the US.
Okay.
So they produced. I think I could be wrong, but it's about 15 to 16,000 of these helicopters, right? And it's one of the most highest grossing helicopters, I mean, in terms of numbers out there, right? So after I did that program, then it was really a very fortunate set of circumstances whereby the Albatross presented itself. Right? I mean, I could spend the next hour talking to you about how I got in, how I purchased the asset, negotiations, all that sort of stuff, but essentially I based it on the fact that the world works on a problem-solution paradigm, right? As I discussed, right? Meaning that probably about 1 million years ago, this man in a cave started a fire by putting some rocks together, right? And then another guy came along. It could have been a woman. I'm sorry, you don't know these days. So it could have been another person that came along and says, "Look, I've got a better idea. I'm going to rub 2 sticks together." All right, and then about 1 million years later, they go, "Look, you know what? I've got some matches." Right? And then now we start a fire with those gas guns, right? Meaning, right, the philosophy of that paradigm is that until a better solution comes along, the old solution will continue to persist, right? That's just what happens, right? And so, having recognized that there is no amphibian aircraft out there, right, to solve the problems in which India is facing, Vietnam is facing, Europe is facing, and every country experiences different problems, right? You can't, but there's universal problems, right? And so having recognized that, then I said, well, what's the best amphibian aircraft in history in terms of not only capabilities, but in terms of certification status? And that's very important in aerospace because you can't just go along and say, my aircraft's the best. Right? It's the best. It can do this, it can do that, it can fly this far, it can fly this high, it can fly this fast. But is it FAA and EASA certified? And the answer is no. It can't be integrated into the world aviation ecosystem. It's very difficult. Not impossible, but extremely difficult. Right? And many countries are working on this certification for their own aircraft. They have their own certification. But there's a lot of things that are involved in aerospace in terms of, say for example, you've got an aircraft. It's FAA certified, so you can get insurance, right? Or if you're a if you want to start an airline, I need finance, right? And so it has to be certified if you want to land at an airport. The airport codes, you fly in, then it's got to be certified, right? So the whole aerospace infrastructure is interconnected with the finance infrastructure, with the insurance infrastructure, with the aerospace or aircraft, airports infrastructure all around the world. So not one single factor can decide your fate. That is the special thing about aerospace, and that is what is the privileged position we're in at the moment.
I hope someday, with your collaboration, we'll make a made-in-India helicopter or an amphibious aircraft. You never know.
Never say never.
Never say never.
Never say never.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.